HCTV Sports is supported by Biermeyer Financial Management, Retirement Planning Expertise.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin.
Oh, was that beautiful? Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike three.
Double alley. Touchdown Raiders.
HCTV Sports is supported by
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hastings High School as we get set for Hastings Raiders volleyball. I'm your host, Owen Ely, here with my broadcast partner for the night, Mr. Five-Tool Hunter Pinky. Should have a good one for you.
Yeah, thanks, Owen. We have a really good contest tonight. Hastings is bottom of the barrel of the conference right now, but honestly, we've seen a lot out of this team. They've put on pretty big runs when they've been down big. We saw them against Prescott last week or the week before, and they were down probably 17 points, and they put a 13-point run up, and we're right back into it. But we have a pretty good team here, and I think we have a good contest, good Metro East showdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing like some Thursday night volleyball here. Pretty decent attendance here, and yeah, I mean, to your point, you know, you look at the standings, not the prettiest standings if you're a fan of the Raiders, and there's a look at the Metro East Conference standing. There you can see Mahtomedi top of the class, 2-0 in the conference, 10-2 overall, 1-8 for the Raiders, 0-2 in the conference. Luckily for the Raiders, though, I mean, it's still very early in conference play, so you know, although the overall is there's a little bit of a discrepancy there. You know, they can win some of these conference games and climb the standings.
Exactly. And if you're a Raiders fan, I think there's still a lot to look forward to with this team. One player I think to be on the lookout for tonight is Haley Strain, daughter of head coach Dana Strain of the football team. She's 6'0". She's only a sophomore. She was playing varsity basketball as a freshman last year. So she'll give you that height advantage right at the line, right at the net. So she should be a key asset for the Raiders tonight.
Well, the Raiders, at least, you know, it seems like over the last couple of years, they've always had that one, you know, really, really dominant player. Last year it was Lily Newton. Obviously she's graduated, but it seems like they always have at least one.
Exactly. And there's a shot of new head coach Elizabeth Curran. She's replacing Annie Currenshin. Few struggles in her opening season, but the other thing I want to mention too is some of those losses are a little bit deceptive. 4 of those games came in tournament play where they only would play best of 3s in the early rounds. So you're essentially losing a whole game in those games.
Yeah, and you know, we've covered some games that unfortunately they've lost, but if you watch the actual game, you know, this team has caught fire. As we'll get the opening serve of the match. Early point there for Mahtomedi to get the scoring started. But continuing on that point, you know, this has been a very competitive team, and I think that'll obviously pay off for them as the season goes on. Get the serve there from Mahtomedi, set up right near the centering line, and the point will be awarded to Mahtomedi. Get the setup here on the near side. Bump over the top. Now the Zephyrs mounting their attack, and we'll get the first point of the night here for the Hastings Raiders.
As we get a few substitutions. Number 3 for the Raiders checks out. That's Natalie Kaflish. 2 checking in. Annabelle Norquist.
the only other sophomore on this roster. She'll get the serve. Zephyrs on the attack. A block there by the Raiders, but it's going to go out of bounds right in front of the scoring table.
I know last year one of the concerns I noticed was just that height disadvantage against many teams last year. Looking at it on the roster, it has evened out. They do have a few taller players, Kafflish being 5'10", Emma Baker being 5'11", Alyssa Bauer being 5'10". It's just some of these teams in the Metro East are all 6 foot plus or in the upper 5'10s.
Well, that one nearly hit the basketball hoop at the top of the gym as the point will be scored there, just shy of that far side corner. Maybe almost had a moment like in that Cowboys game where they keep punting the ball right up at the scoreboard.
Yeah, they missed a replay on that one because that one actually did hit the scoreboard. That, by rule, was supposed to be a redo on that punt as Mahtomedi gets another point.
Well, here's something that I can't quite figure out, because I know one of the talking points we had last year with this Raiders team is it was so senior laden, where you kind of wondered what would this team, as Mahtomedi will get another point here, you kind of wonder, well, you know, the Raiders, they're going to have a youth movement here in 2022, but you look at the roster, it's still a lot of seniors. I don't know where all these seniors are coming from.
I wonder how many of them were on JV last year. That one's bumped up by the Raiders. Goes for the kill shot. Nice save by Mahtomedi.
Just not enough push there from Sylvie Greatzer, sophomore, to send that one over the top.
So we get a few substitutions coming in.
Kate Coomer with the serve.
That's one of the confusing names in this roster because that one's blocked at the line by Mahtomedi. In high school, I knew a Nick Coomer, but a few years ago there was also a quarterback named Colin Cummer, and it was spelled the exact same. So it makes me wonder if she's a Coomer or it's a Colin Cummer pronunciation.
Yeah, unfortunately we don't have pronunciation guides.
One of the hardest things about high school sports is pronunciations and finding stats. Unfortunately, I didn't find many stats pre-game for the Raiders. Mahtomedi did pretty good, though.
Well, I assume we're on Facebook, but if anybody knows pronunciations, if anybody's parents are watching, that would be cool. Because to be honest, there's nothing worse in our position to mispronounce somebody's name when they make a really awesome play. We're not trying to mess up anybody's names here, but...
Exactly. And actually, we're on YouTube tonight. YouTube's been a little more copyright-friendly than Facebook has.
A little bit too much power on that one. Sails over the Hastings end line.
We're going to get our first timeout of the half, or of this game.
Well, and speaking of awesome parents, how about the parents at the Raiders football game in Simley last Saturday? One of the parents giving us the height and weights for that offensive line for Simley and providing some more context for that team. Very compelling stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Simley is looking very good this year, and obviously, like I think Reagan said it, they're built like a college line. And I believe Gavin Nelson too is a star for the Simley wrestling team. We saw him last year for wrestling.
Yeah, I was talking with his dad after the game, and he said that he's committed to the Gophers for wrestling. But I don't know, maybe he could be a two-sport athlete. Maybe they could find room for him in the backfield. Gophers always produce pretty good running backs.
He's a tank in the backfield. I think he could make that team as a walk-on.
Oh, boy, is he.
Won't they be losing a few guys this year?
Yeah, they always lose somebody and figure out some sort of replacement. Mahtomedi working their way back, sent over the net, and that one going the way of the Zephyrs. Second serve here for Arneson.
Mahtomedi, too, is a pretty senior-riddled team. They only have 2 sophomores as well. I'm surprised there's no juniors. That one gets in for the Raiders.
Yeah, it's always interesting looking at roster construction. And you got to figure that those 2 sophomores, I mean, I'm sure we'll figure it out as the game goes on, but you got to figure that they're up there for a reason, so they're probably pretty exceptional players, as that serve will not be returned by Mahtomedi. Point there to stop the bleeding for the Raiders.
Macy Franja is serving for the Raiders. Also, fun fact, these are some brand new jerseys tonight for the Raiders. They usually rock the dark blue like number 11 Kate Coomer has on. I'll say I like the gold a lot. A lot of people sleep on it. It's a good jersey.
No, I think it's a very good jersey. Looks very clean. Looks like they're competing for Sweden at the Olympics or something. Serve here for Mahtomedi. Goomer sends it up. Tapped over on the far side.
That was a nice dig. I didn't catch the number on it.
Bump across, that one going the wrong way for Mahtomedi. They might have recovered that one. Frandrup sets it up to the far side, and that one slipping past the hands of a diving Kaylee Malvey.
I'm trying to look at a replay at this one. Nice, soft little bump over the net. Nice diving attempt, but perfect placement for the Raiders. I apologize if I mess up some pronunciations or aren't highlighting some kids. I'm doing the switching and announcing with Owen tonight, so bear with me. I got a lot on my plate. So.
Yeah, you really got the toughest job in the gymnasium right now.
That one's served over the net.
Mahtomedi mounting an attack. That one takes an awkward bounce off of the top rope. Deflected out of bounds. The Raiders mounting a little bit of a comeback here, 12-7.
Take a look at that one, too. Just couldn't get that to stick over the net.
Something like a 5-2 run here for Hastings. A one-arm bash there from number 16. And another point going here to Hastings.
Sorry to interrupt you. We'll learn the timing. This is our first time doing a game together, but this is what we've seen in previous games. They get down big, but then they go on a huge run to get right back in it. Now they're only down 4, but as I say that.
Yeah, there you go. That's the classic announcer's jinx. But it's uncanny. I mean, how many sets have we covered over the last couple of years, and the story is always the same. They always get super hot in the middle of a set.
Yeah, we had a couple really good matches last year. So that one's bumped back in. Just falls in the line.
Boy, that ball was going all over Mahtomedi's zone there.
But last year against Apple Valley, that was a tight one. Hastings lost 3-0, but every single set was close.
Yeah, I think they're honestly, of the games we covered last year, I think there only was one set where they kind of got worked over a little bit. But every other one, it is very competitive. Serve there from Hastings. A little tip back up top from Sydney Sticka.
Cindy Peterson with the serve for the Raiders.
That one sent sky high up for McCown. Tipped back. Immediately volleyed back over. Frandrup to the far side. The slam and the block for Mahtomedi.
Gonna take a look at a replay at that block. Just deflected it right down.
Couple of players coming off here for the Raiders.
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
We'll forgive you.
Just this once. One's bumped up.
Slap back, and that one just barely getting in the corner. Just about everything going the Raiders' way. Take another look at the replay here.
Just barely hit that line. You can't get that any closer.
No, we might have to get that VAR they use for tennis to see where that one landed. Mad scramble there for the Zephyrs, and that one fumbled a little bit there by number 16. I'm going to assume that's Lauren Meyer.
We do not have 16 on either of our rosters, so if anyone knows who our mystery player is, please let us know in the comments.
Raiders on the attack on the near side, and that is given to the Raiders. Seemed like there was a little bit of confusion there from the Zephyrs on where that one landed.
So you see Coach Coran talking to Haley Strain. Wonder if Coach Strain's in the house anywhere tonight. I've seen him at a few games. Haley's also a very good softball pitcher.
Well, we talked on the last broadcast about how, you know, if you're a tremendous running back, you're probably also a tremendous linebacker, and you know that's another thing you find in high school. If you're really good at one sport, you're probably good at all of them.
And that's one of the things I really like about our Hastings teams. Yeah, sometimes the records aren't the best, but we have a really high multi-sport athlete rate. I think over half the student body that plays one sport is playing another, which is huge for when you're trying to develop as an athlete. The only sport I really don't see that a ton with all the time is baseball, because a lot of high school kids go to play for club teams and are seeking that super fast development. We get a timeout here. Not sure who by. Timeouts aren't being kept track of on the scoreboard. Speaking of which, we got a brand new scoreboard that they're not using yet.
Wow, that's a crying shame. Does look nice.
It's brand new as you get a shot of it on our broadcast side.
Fresh paint.
It was kind of an interesting decision to go with the center court one.
Yeah.
But as you get a look at the old scoreboard, that's the one we are plugged into and getting your scores tonight. Apparently for basketball, they are going to use that as a shot clock, which they're adding in the 23 season, 23-24.
That is the best news I've heard in a long time. It's been ridiculous that there hasn't been a shot clock implemented in high school basketball.
Oh, absolutely. And as we've seen it, we were talking a bit pregame, but for a lot of our basketball teams, they play great for one half, but then they give up some points in the second, and then they just hold the ball for 5 minutes at a time, just passing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you ever talk to Insider Baseball, but if you ever talk to Toby about the horror stories of not having a shot clock in basketball over his 20, 25 years, however long he's been doing it, of covering high school sports, he has some ridiculous stories. So we have a ridiculously long volley here. That one.
Nice save by Mahtomedi.
Centered back. Now the Raiders with a chance to respond. That one landing just right in front of the bench.
Take a look at that one. Just missed it. Little wide right. (17-3) Mahtomedi lead right now.
Little one-handed push from Macy Frandrup. Looked like she was running a floater in basketball.
Frandrup set up for the serve. Frandrup is the other 6-foot player on this Raiders team.
That one takes an awkward bounce just in front of Kate Coomer.
few subs.
Yeah, I'm told being tall in volleyball is a good thing. So having 2 6-footers is ideal.
That's why you see a lot of volleyball players also play basketball too. Lily Newton, we mentioned before, played basketball and volleyball. She was hurt for a good chunk of the volleyball season last year. She did something to her knee as the Raiders score on that one.
So Mahtomedi has led the entire set. They still have a little bit of a cushion, but the Raiders making it closer.
Norquist checks out. I think if you're a Raiders fan, you have to be happy with how they're playing. They're keeping in it with a really good Mahtomedi team.
Well, they'll keep in there again. They got another point. Now they're only down by 2. I mean, listen, anytime you look at the standings and you see a 10-2 team going up against a 1-8 team, you're going to have a preconception that, you know, that lower team is going to get just railroaded. But they have a real chance to win this opening set. Tipped back. Nice recovery there from K-Flish. And that one did not get the clearance off of the dig there from Strain.
The trap game is a very real concept.
It really is.
Games I'm not saying that Mahtomedi thinks this is a for sure fire win, but games you expect teams to pile drive oftentimes are closer than you would think.
Well, if you get motivated for big games, logic would stand that you might not get motivated for smaller games. Hard to get up for every game. Nice tip, and that one right through the hands of Malvi. Looked like Troy Williamson trying to catch a pass.
Coomer checks out for the Raiders. Number 25 serving, Sydney Peterson once again.
Hastings wisely lets that one just sail over the top. Or excuse me, they're going to give Mahtomedi the point.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one. I was wondering where that would go. Yep, that one was out. Pretty quick replay on your screen, but that one was out from my perspective.
Yeah, I was going to blame it on my obstructed view, but that one was questionable. And a foul there from the Raiders. Another point here from Mahtomedi, now with a 5-point lead. Zephyrs with the serve, working the way to the near side, and we're going to get another foul before the ball can get launched over the net. Mustar with the serve. A hard dig there from K-Flish. Bouncing save. A backhanded return. That one sailed right back.
That was a nice defensive play right there. Mahtomedi drops that one back in. You have a rocket coming straight at you. I don't know how you're... Certainly something I couldn't do, get my hands back that quick to make it go up.
No, yeah, definitely not. Takes some talent to do that. Far side, blocked, scramble for the ball. That one invigorates the Raiders bench as they stay alive. Another point.
Let's take a look at that one. Nice block. Was that 13? I believe that was 13 for the Raiders. Alyssa Bauer. Strain with the serve.
Nice serve. Fielded there from Brueggemann, and the point's going to be given here to the home team.
Ah, you know what? I think we were pronouncing that name wrong because I just saw Colin Cummer walk in.
That would make sense.
I believe it is, in fact, Coomer. As Mahtomedi gets the final point of the set.
Well, the Raiders hanging on in there, responding valiantly.
I gotta say, I love the effort from Hastings so far. You're keeping in there with a really good team who was kind of expected to be the top dog in this conference. They took a set off Simley earlier this week, who's also a pretty known powerhouse in the Metro East. So I think the fact you're hanging in this one, I think they will keep it competitive the rest of the night.
I would imagine so. Well, with that, we're going to send it to intermission here after the first set, a 1-0 lead for Mahtomedi on the road.
Mother, or loved one. Call 911 if someone you know is overdosing. Call United Way's 24/7 helpline by dialing 211 to find resources in and near Hastings. Contact United Way of Hastings or visit their website, unitedwayofhastings.org, for more resources or to make a donation. You can save a life by working with me and the United Way of Hastings to build awareness and reduce the stigma of overdoses and fentanyl poisonings. One pill can kill.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hastings High School as we get set for the start of set number 2. There's a look at some of the players here for your Hastings Raiders, class of 2023, a very senior-laden team, holding on here against one of the top teams in the conference, the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Got off to an early deficit in that first set, but fought their way back to within, I believe, 2. Ended up losing that opening set 25-19.
The Raiders were hanging in there most of that game. Yeah, they got in a pretty big hole in the beginning of the set, but they quickly closed that gap. What were they down? At least 8 in the beginning. Roughly?
Yeah, I think 10-2 at one point.
But they marched it right back. As we await the officials. Speaking of officials, want to give a quick shout out to our officials tonight. There's still an official shortage going on in the state of Minnesota. So we want to make sure they're appreciated and recognized. You don't have the easiest job in the world, especially when you're criticized tooth and nail.
Yeah, it is not a thankful job, so.
I was talking to one of the officials before the game, and he had a really good approach about it. He just said it's when there's negative coaches screaming in your face or fans, it goes in one ear and out the other.
Wow, yeah. Mahtomedi with the first point of set number 2. Yeah, I mean, if you're a ref, you got to have a pretty thick skin, but people obviously should treat them a lot nicer. Can't play the game without the refs, as we'll get another point here from Mahtomedi. Yeah, and also important to know they're not full-time professionals. You know, they're people with other jobs. You know, being a high school referee does not exactly pay the bills.
Right. No, and he said that exact same thing. The line judge not in the stand. Didn't catch his name, unfortunately. You can see him on the left of your screen. He said it was exactly that. He does it for the kids, and they're a huge part. Anytime someone's getting killed, he'll go up to the team, hey, you guys played good. You'll rebound later. So he always treats his job as a positive reinforcement. As Mahtomedi gets up to a 4-0 lead early in the second set.
And make that 5-0 as that one just slips out of the end line. We will get a timeout called on the court, I presume, by the Raiders. 60-second timeout.
Yeah, while we have a second, I want to take a minute and thank our HCTV sponsor, Biermeyer Financial Management. Retirement planning expertise. Thank you for sponsoring HCTV Sports. As you know, it's getting a little tougher out there with people cutting cable every single day. So having these sponsors helps us allow us to do what we do. Multi-camera shoots, replay, great commentary. We couldn't do this without the support of businesses and the community. So thank you once again. We're still looking for winter sponsors, so if you have any interest in that, feel free to email me at hunterp@hastingstv.org. And we can get you more info.
Yeah, very cool to see that we have sponsors now. I mean, the services of one Reagan Hooverman are not cheap, but boy, is he the best color commentator and basketball play-by-play in the state of Minnesota. Mahtomedi working hard to keep that one alive. Had to go pretty far out of their way for that one. They'll set up the attack here right over to blockers as the point off of the timeout goes to Mahtomedi.
Number 21 serving for the Zephyrs, Ali Mustar or Muster.
Frandrup with the assist. That one taking a friendly bounce twice for the Raiders, and they'll get their first point of set number 2.
Bailey Strain setting up for the serve, number 8. As well, I figured I should mention that bell as that serve goes into the net for a Mahtomedi point. That bell, I believe there is an open house night going on tonight, so parents can follow their kids' schedules and meet their teachers. So I believe they're actually following the passing time of the school as Kylie Poole serves it over.
Well, I was wondering why there was a bell periodically going off throughout the game.
It didn't click to me until about the 4th or 5th bell.
I just figured like it was like the Raiders version of a Gallahorn or something.
Raiders need their own skull line or something like that. Hype them up. If the Raiders score on that one, we get a couple substitutions. Number 2, Annabelle Norquist checks in.
Obviously, I'm a little biased, but you know there is something special about Hastings and its athletics, and the people of Hastings got rallying around the athletes. I mean, obviously, every town likes to think that they support their athletes and whatnot, but called a lot of games, a lot of places, and Hastings is right up there.
Absolutely. Hastings is a very good sports town, and we appreciate everyone watching. And speaking of which, as they roll that one, Mahtomedi point. I want to thank the SCCTV viewers for tuning in tonight. We know we're a Hastings broadcast, but we appreciate anyone from the Mahtomedi area tuning in and other stations for picking us up. We want to make this a fun time for you too, so thank you.
And what's better than a classic collab? Another point going to Mahtomedi. So now the biggest lead of the night. Started off 10-2 in the first set. Now Mahtomedi up 11-2 in set number 2. Frandrup a little too low on that return back.
This is where the Raiders do struggle, is they do unfortunately give up these big leads. While they may storm back, some of the leads they do give up.
What a kill there by Frandrup.
Get a little too steep to overcome, and this is approaching that territory, but again, right as I say that, they score a point, so my announcer's jink might be really bad as number 5 checks in for the Zephyrs, Cameron Peterson.
I mean, again, keep saying it ad nauseum, but it really is uncanny. Every single set seems to follow the same script as the point given to Mahtomedi off of a foul. And anytime you're down double digits in a set, that's a pretty tall task to try to come back and win. But I always wonder what would happen if it was 5-5 after the first 10. How that set would turn out. Raiders trying to get a point here. A gentle push over the top.
Nice fake out by the Raider right there. She looked like she was going to go for the kill, but just a soft bump over the net.
That one blocked at the line. Play still going on. I thought it was over. Some of the frontline players thought it was over. And the point preemptively given there to Mahtomedi.
They also are very prone to having long volleys like that, but it just seems they don't always end up on the winning side of those. But they keep a lot of these competitive. That one goes out of bounds. We might want to take a look at that one. I don't know if that one was...
I think the lights on the floor might be playing a trick. Yeah.
Ooh, that one was close, but... You know, that one's a 50-50. I'll give the official a pass on that one.
Well, after talking about the importance of officials, far be it from us to criticize officials. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. Frandrup, low clearance on the serve. That one tipped at the line off the fingertips of Emma Backer.
I believe it's Baker.
Baker, okay.
Should we get a sub for Mahtomedi? I believe. Like I said, if we're pronunciating these names,
got thrown off by the double K.
let us know.
Tipped at the line, sent back from Kate Coomer.
And actually, I was correct. Anna Reuter on YouTube confirming it is pronounced like Colin Cummer.
Kate Cummer.
That is correct.
Okay.
As Catholic checks out. Thank you for letting us know, by the way. We really appreciate that.
And the point going to Mahtomedi. 17-5 lead here in set number 2.
Number 5, Cameron Peterson for the serve for the Zephyrs.
Peterson, left-handed serve. Drifting out to the far side. A punch there from Kaflish sends it over. Now Malvi's shot was deflected back towards Mahtomedi, and that one just off the inside of the wrist of Macy Frandrup.
That one's tough because that one came in at her high. Which I don't know if she should have let that one go. Ooh, tough to tell on that replay.
Yeah, very, very tough to tell. That one takes a bad bounce back towards the Raiders. Kaflish splitting the difference between two of the backline players for the point. And that's always the trickiest part, as we'll take another look at the replay here. Peterson diving out, trying to stop that one. I mean, you look like a genius if you don't play the ball and it goes out of bounds, but if it happens to slide in there, there's nothing worse than not fielding it. Too low of a serve there from the senior Peterson.
As number 14 for the Raiders checks in, Emma Baker. Peterson checks out.
Serve right down the middle. Frandrup on the assist, and not exactly sure what happened there from K-Flush. Maybe just hit the ball wrong.
As it stands, we're following that same formula we were talking about earlier. It's very competitive in the first game. But somehow these Raider teams need to figure out how to keep playing aggressive and finish it into games 2 and 3. Obviously, volleyball is a little different than basketball or, you know, other half sports like football.
I just find it so interesting, like noticing patterns like this for different teams as the Raiders will get the point on the low serve, where year after year, and I don't have the most extensive knowledge of this team, but year over year through different coaches, this has been a pattern. I just find stuff like that interesting.
Exactly. And I don't say that to be a negative thing, because I do also think it is a positive in a way, because you are playing aggressive, you are playing competitive. It shows you have this talent. It's just gotta continue it through all of your sets.
Oh yeah. I don't say that as a negative thing, more of just an observation. Because I mean, you know, it'd be a lot worse if you just got blown out every single game and weren't competitive or had these, you know, gigantic hot streaks in the middle of sets, because that one's going to slip off the hand of a Raiders player.
Exactly. And the tough thing with volleyball too, is just when you go on Volleyball Hub or any of those sites, immediately you don't see the set scores. You just see who won all the sets. So it's Hastings, it'd be Hastings 3-0 or Mahtomedi 3-0. You don't really see, unless you choose to dig a little bit more, but they just highlight that.
Yeah, weird
the
that
game scores.
Weird that they don't have the set scores in there.
I think they do, but if I'm not wrong, you have to kind of dig and go into a full breakdown, like the box scores.
Well, stats definitely don't tell the whole story as we get a timeout. Or excuse me, that was just the match point. The scoreboard was a little late on that one, so Mahtomedi is going to take set number 2, 25-7. They have a 2-set lead here on the road in Hastings.
I wouldn't let this set get you down if you're a Raiders fan. Like I said, there's a whole nother set left. There's another one after that if you win it. There could be a whole lot of volleyball left tonight. Just got to play competitive, and sorry, the bell went off. But just don't let this get down. Be competitive. You're hanging in there. A lot of volleyball left to play, and I think they still have a chance to make a run.
I mean, what are you going to do? The alternative is just imploding. What are you going to do? You got to focus on the set in front of you. So with that 2-0 lead for Mahtomedi on the road here in Hastings.
Push that trash that way, not this way. Come on.
Oh, hey there. Do you like HCTV?
That's one small step for Hastings and one giant leap for community television.
Do you want a custom video that promotes your business or organization and gives you the results you're looking for? As an HCTV sponsor, our staff will work with your business or organization to create a custom video to promote your brand. You also have an option of getting a shout out in every sporting event we cover. And that's 3 points for your business. So support HCTV today! Go to hastingstv.org/sponsors for more information or to give a one-time donation.
I'm Caden Noring, and I live in Hastings, Minnesota. Right here in Hastings, Snapchat and other social media apps are being used to buy and sell illegal drugs, many of which are made with illicit fentanyl, like ordering a pizza. With a few keywords or emojis, kids can order what they think are legit prescription drugs, like Percocet, Xanax, and Adderall, and have them delivered right to their home. 4 out of every 10 pills found on social media are made up of deadly fentanyl. How do I know this? That's how I lost my big brother Devin on April 4th, 2020. A pill he and his friend got from someone on Snapchat was a fake. The Percocet they believed they were given was made with enough fentanyl to kill 10 people. Devin didn't know. Devin didn't want to die. If you suspect drug dealing is happening, you can leave an anonymous tip by using the Tip 411 system in Hastings. Text the word Hastings and your tip to 847-411. Call 911 if you suspect an overdose is happening. Seconds count. Call United Way's 24/7 helpline by dialing 211 to find resource in and near Hastings. Contact United Way of Hastings or visit their website unitedwayofhastings.org.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hastings as we get set for the start of set number 3. After 2, it's a 2-0 lead for the visiting Mahtomedi Zephyrs over your Hastings Raiders. Owen Ely here with Hunter Pinky on the call. Both teams taking the court. First set pretty close, 25-19. The second set not so much, 25-7. We'll see how the Raiders respond here. Got to win this set if they want to keep the match alive tonight.
Really strain on the serve.
Two-handed shove there from Pregame. Now Frandrup. Shot bounces off. The Raiders keeping that one alive somehow. Took a couple of odd bounces, and that one sailed over the top. And for the first time tonight, the Raiders with a lead.
I also want to say something about the Raider bench and the student section. I don't think I've heard a louder student section and volleyball bench than the Raiders. They get so loud, so fired up. It's no wonder why they go on long runs like this. It's incredible. You don't see that with other schools.
Well, yeah, the energy is there, and obviously we were in a commercial break, but in between sets, Macy Frandrup was out there jumping around trying to fire up her teammates ahead of this set. So far, working out pretty good for Hastings. 2-0 lead. Frandrup making it 3-0.
So we get a replay of that. Nice hard hit just past Mahtomedi.
And just enough finesse on it to not, because you can get so overworked and anxious and just try to hit it with all your might and sail it over the top. That is an all-time jinx right there as that one sails over the top. But amazing play there from
Let's take a
Hastings.
look at the save, though. Oh, I guess it did not show all the way. Just missed it. Oh, I tried. But Raider had a really nice diving save on that one. Too bad they couldn't just finish it off. But still up to a 3-1 lead early.
Mahtomedi trying to close the gap. Awkward little punch across from Frandrup, and they're going to give. Well, they're going to give the point to Hastings. She motioned to Hastings, motioned to Mahtomedi, and then motioned back to Hastings.
We'll take a look at that one. Let's see where that was. Oh yeah, that was out. That absolutely was out.
I appreciate the little pump fake from the line judge.
That's also one of the unique things about volleyball is how they have parents or coaches help be line judges for volleyball, as that one sails out of bounds. Or no, that was Hastings Point.
Well, I'm not so sure about it. I mean, it is Hastings Point, undeniably. They put it on the board, but that one...
I thought that one sailed out. There must have been a foul I missed on that one.
Well, yeah, that is a very real possibility.
As Norquist gets set to serve. The other sophomore. There's something going on down in... wonder what that was.
Looks like one of the coaches might have picked up something.
quite sure it couldn't make it out.
Well, either way, score stays the same, and that one just a lame response there from Mahtomedi, 6-1. Now in favor of Hastings.
See, Hastings has so much potential. They look at what we're watching right now. It's just they got to get all the pieces to click, and hopefully they can keep this moving forward.
Little stumble there from Meyer. Second point of set number 3 for Mahtomedi.
We get some subs coming out. Number 8 checks out. Number 7 checks in. 8 is Grace Hansen. 7 is Anusha Kanpur. If I butchered that one, I apologize. Serve.
We'll get the setup here from Strain. Sends it across. That one nearing the center line, and wisely letting that one sail out of bounds is Lauren Meyer.
Take a look at that, where that one landed. Just make sure. Yep, that was way out.
And again, I hope it's not lost on people that, you know, this is the bottom team in the conference against the top team in the conference, and they're playing like this in set number 3.
They're one of them. Their overall record is worse in the conference, but I think they're third as Hastings gets another point right there. Number 11, Kate Kummer serving.
Hard serve. Solid boom there. Now Kummer sends it to a teammate. And that one, again, takes a little bit of an awkward roll off of the hands of a Zephyr player. That's happened a handful of times here in set number 3.
Raiders off to a huge lead early on, 9-2. But they still can't, you can't play comfortable in this situation either. You got to play aggressive.
Oh, absolutely. A little one-handed push there from Frandrup. Hard hit. That one takes a weird bounce off of Kate Kummer. And that one right in front of the aforementioned Raiders player. Take another look at the replay here.
Right in no man's land.
Worst place to be.
I feel like that was also one of those awkward situations where you don't know if you should dive, but if you do and miss it, you don't look the best.
Well, yeah, you also don't want to collide with your teammate, as they'll give the point to the Zephyrs.
One of the interesting things with volleyball is I don't think I could handle diving on hardwood floor all night.
No, that looks painful.
So credit to all these girls playing tonight.
I mean, I know that they got their knees taped up and whatnot, but if you land on that wrong, I would have to imagine that's going to take off a good portion of skin. Frandrup, soft serve. Peterson sending it back for a teammate. Little bump there from Kate Kummer. And that one going into no man's, well, not exactly no man's land, but neither Raider player knew if they should take that one. So Mahtomedi closing the gap here, down by 4. See if the Raiders can get back to their winning ways here. Dead center, that one takes a bounce off of the shoulder with Haley Strain.
That one's so tough to block when it's that high. Gap narrowing a bit for the Raiders.
Third serve in a row there for Arneson. Back for Poole. Over to Arneson. Nice. A little floater. And I think technically tipped back from Megan Mead.
That was such a nice diving save by the Raider, but unfortunate, just little block at the line. Didn't have to do too much on that either.
Arneson, left-handed serve. That one bouncing sky high. Kate Coomer sends it across. And ball off of McCown. The point going to Mahtomedi, now within 1.
Number 11 on the serve for the Zephyrs. It's Catherine Arneson.
And the point going here to Hastings.
We have another identification from Anna Reuter again. Number 16 is Nora Tome, and she's a freshman.
All right.
We appreciate that. Helps us out a lot. Some people say it's unprofessional to ask for help on YouTube, but I think it helps us interact with you guys, so we appreciate it.
Well, we'd rather be right than wrong, so however we can correct ourselves. We're all Hastings fans here. We're all just helping each other out.
Exactly. As we get a Hastings substitution.
See, and they were really trying to trick us out with that one because she's not even on the JV or B squad roster.
And there she is, home on screen.
Noro with the serve. And that one does not clear the net. So the Raiders with a nice little mini response here. Lead back to 3. Tome again with the serve.
Nice little bump.
Franjup over to her teammate, takes an awkward tip, recovered by the Zephyrs, sent back and sent out of bounds off of the bump there from K-Flish.
Get a substitution for Mahtomedi. Number 8 checks in, Grace Hansen. Cameron Peterson on the serve for the Zephyrs.
Serve is fielded by K-Flish. Attempt on a push over there from Haley Strain, no good.
Gotta wonder when you're a Raider, when do you think you take that timeout? Just because obviously you have that big lead and you sort of let that one go, but also you don't want to kill momentum like that right there.
Yeah, that is the $1 million question. I think if they, for my money, if they tie it, I think that's when you call the timeout. Hopefully for the Raiders' sake, obviously that doesn't happen. Baker with the serve. And a heads-up play there from Tome, just letting that one go out of bounds just barely over the line. But she did make the correct choice. Now Baker with the serve, fielded right down the middle. Here on the near side, tipped over, pushed back. Have to send it over there. And Nora Tome over the line.
Should get a substitution for the Raiders and the Zephyrs. 23 checks in for Mahtomedi, 14 out for the Raiders. Emma Baker for the Raiders.
Caroline Bruges with the serve. Frandrup comes towards the center, and Haley Strain a little too low on the spike.
As you take a look at her on their screen. Nice tall 6 foot. Very helpful at that line. She's gonna hit one of those kills soon. I can feel it.
Second volley across, and that one off of Frandrup, out of bounds. The tie game here midway through the third set. Mahtomedi is saying they got to get out of here. Trying to sweep the sets. And that one off of Frandrup, kind of rolled up the netting and back down. Obviously can't field your own bump there. Frandrup sets up Strain, and Strain again a little too low on the return.
I want to take a quick minute to once again thank our sponsors. Biermeyer Financial Management, retirement planning expertise. For more information, head to biermeyerfinancial.com. Thank you for supporting HCTV Sports, as now we get the timeout. I didn't think we were getting one, so I did that a little early, but thank you nonetheless.
Well, they take the timeout here, now down by 3.
I guess while we have a pause in the action, too, why don't we highlight our next broadcast, which is tomorrow. Football versus St. Thomas Academy, 7 p.m. from Todd Field.
Boy, is that going to be a fun one. For many reasons, that's going to be a fun one.
St. Thomas is always a huge game for the Raiders when they come to town. There's no bigger rival for Hastings than St. Thomas Academy. It used to be Park Wolfpack. As you know, before we switched out of your conference, It used to be a pretty big one. It's still a fun one. They play every year in every sport, at least once. So there's still something there, but it's not quite the same as playing in that conference twice every season.
Even though the schools are still the same distance apart. Just ruining historical. It's like the Gophers not being in the same conference as North Dakota. That's how illogical that is.
Exactly. And one thing I do want to add, too, that's kind of exciting, is that one hits the net. Point Zephyrs. The other big rival for Hastings back in the day, that was a Hastings point. Hastings used to have a pretty big rivalry, too, with Creighton-Durham Hall, who they never see anymore except for football.
Point awarded to Hastings, now closing the gap.
So that rivalry has been kind of refueled now that they're playing in the same district for football. Hastings put up a 50 spot on them last year.
Well, that football game should be interesting. I don't know how the game went last year, but I know, 2 years ago, that game was really, really close with the Raiders storming back against St. Thomas when they were the number 1 team in that conference, as the Raiders now tie it up at 17 apiece.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Hastings fell to St. Thomas Academy last year in the section championship, 28-0. They played hard that game. They just couldn't get the offense rolling. Defense played strong.
And the Raiders taking back the lead, 7 away from winning the set.
This is what you like to see if you're a Raiders fan. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but I really like what Coach Curran is doing with the team. She has college background. She brings a whole new mindset to this team, and like I said, the overall record's a little deceiving. I think this game kind of displays that, or this set, I should say.
Nice block. Ball still in the field of play. Tipped over from Malvey. Strain, K-Flish over the 2 blockers. Peterson to Arneson. Going back, a hard dig. Tipped at the line, and that one in no man's land off of the tip.
Subs for Mahtomedi.
Well, as Brett Favre would say, the pieces are in place. That much we know with the Raiders volleyball team.
Yeah, I don't think Brett Favre, we could be talking about him too much.
Why, is he in the news or something?
Only a little bit for something pretty bad. Big volleyball fan, though.
Well, there we go. Always a silver lining. K-Flish just hits that one a little bit, rolls off of her hand.
It seemed like she didn't know what she wanted to do. I thought she was she was trying to be that in-between stage and just do a light bump. But it just seemed like she tried to kill it when she wanted to hit it too.
That one sailing a little bit too far away from Frandrup to send over. We'll get a timeout called on the court. Mahtomedi 20, Hastings 18.
Obviously, this is mainly color guy territory, but if you're Coach Curran, what are you telling your team?
I would just, for the 60 seconds, I would only say one thing, and I would just quote Al Davis, just win, baby, win. That's all you need to know. No schematics, no techniques, just go out there and win. I mean, listen, they're in a pretty good spot. Obviously, you'd want to be leading, but, we've seen them down by bigger margins, certainly in set number 2. So you're within...
we get a shot of us on TV.
You're within striking distance, so you can't be too displeased at the situation the Raiders are in. I would say you have to win this point right here. I mean, it's not do or die, but, every single point they get that much closer to winning, and you don't want to have this suddenly be 22-18, because then it starts to get a little bit out of hand, requires a hotter streak to come back. A little push over there from K-Flish. Arneson over the top, a diving save. Returned over the top of the net. Over the blockers, pushed up. K-Flish blocked. Point Raiders.
We take a look at that one. Oh, never mind. That one didn't. I was a little too slow on the gun on that one. We're still new to replay, folks. This is our first season with it for volleyball. As the Raiders score a point on that one.
Just be thankful we have replay. That is a big upgrade. And that one really fortuitous for Hastings. So now 1st to 5.
Tie game.
Raiders again on the serve, sent up down the middle, did not get the clearance. Raiders back on top. Timeout on the court.
Most likely from Mahtomedi. We don't have timeouts available, fortunately. But it makes sense here that they would take one. What a momentum swing, though.
Yeah. Well, what a rebound from set number 2.
Like I said, even though this could be a little bit down of a year, that record obviously not what you want it. I think they're building a really great foundation. They're going back to the basics, new head coach. They're just showing the potential. Soon it's going to click. It's going to click next year. Soon they're going to have all those basic points they would give up. All those issues are going to go away next year. Maybe not all of them, but it's going to improve every year.
Well, yeah, I think they got the right coach, whether it's next year or 2 years from now. One of these years, they're just going to really surprise us with how polished and good they get when they can kind of string it all together.
That's a Raider point. They said it went off, or it missed the diving comer.
Yeah, that one was...
Initially, they celebrated like it was their point. Maybe they ruled the other way. Never mind, tie game. Get a shot of the out-of-date scoreboard.
Very nice.
Now they get it.
Some sort of violation there for Mahtomedi, so the point just automatically given to the Raiders in a unique spot here to try to close out a set. 1 point lead.
Apologize on the confusion on that one. The way the Raiders reacted, I thought they had it.
A lot of communication here from Mahtomedi. They send that one just out of the line. So Raiders sitting in prime real estate here. We're going to get another timeout, presumably from Mahtomedi. Unless it was a media timeout, but I didn't call one. I don't know if you or one of the camera guys did.
We're not that fancy yet. As much as I wish we could, we're not the NFL. We don't take a timeout every time there's a stoppage.
Yeah, they're spoiled. They get a lot of breaks.
Yeah, we don't have that many commercials to run either, so.
Not yet, we don't.
Take another look at one of our camera guys. There's Ben helping us out. He's also a UWRF alum like us too on the broadcast tonight.
Well, I figured. I mean, Hastings Community TV only seems to use... See, it would be weird if he was from, like, Eau Claire or something.
All right, as we get a shot of Ian, one of our HCTV employees. He's a Hastings guy, not a UWRF alum, but most of our contractors are at least.
Something in the water over there. Serve from the Raiders, and that one is going to go out of bounds. So a little bit of a gift there for Mahtomedi.
Catherine Aronson on to serve. She's a senior for the Zephyrs.
Doesn't have her height listed, but one of the taller players for Mahtomedi. Slam down, out of bounds, and into the stands. Tie game. Wow, this is a real close one here in set number 3.
Just in the perfect spot to tie up Strain.
Second serve for Arneson. Mahtomedi tips it over, and that one lands right over the 2 blockers. Set point upcoming for Mahtomedi.
Match point, in fact.
Oh, yeah, true.
Game ends here if the Raiders can't get this point.
I was underselling it.
Yeah.
Pushed over. Arneson sets it up for 4. Tipped up. Frandrup over for Tome. Now Arneson trying to end it there. Bouncing off of Comer. Takes an awkward bounce. Credit to Mahtomedi for recovering on that one. Arneson sends it over, and the point is awarded to Mahtomedi. That one just threading the needle right in front of the line, as Mahtomedi is going to win set number 3, 25-23, and they're going to win the match here 3-0 on the road. But a very solid effort from Hastings.
Like I said, I've been saying it all game. This team has potential. You saw that. They got up to a, 8-point lead in the beginning. 8-point, 9-point. Stuck with them all the way through this game. They lost by 2 points. You can't ask anything better of this team, especially against a really good Mahtomedi team who's competing in sections for state tournament berths every single season.
And again, it's the whole stats don't tell the whole story. If you look at the quick recap of the game, it's going to say, 3-0. Oh, the Raiders probably got blown out in this one. But, the only set that wasn't competitive was number 2. You look at set number 1, pretty competitive. Set number 3, they took them right to the limit. So, it doesn't exactly tell the whole story of the game. A lot to like for the Raiders.
Absolutely. Once again, just want to remind our viewers before we go, next broadcast will be for football tomorrow. Hopefully we can avoid the rain. It's a little tricky on our end, but we'll be there 7 p.m. for the fun. Should be a good one.
Be there, be square.
But I think that'll do it for us at HCTV.
Well, it was a fun one. The Raiders unfortunately lose 3-0 against Mahtomedi. Special thanks to Hunter Pinky, Mr. Do-It-All, Owen Ely, Ian Andrzejczyk, Max Slocum, and Ben Brannon. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is HCTV Sports.